Good afternoon, everybody. It is March 16th, starting into the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, fifth day of our Kickstarter. I want to thank everybody for the tremendous amount of support we're getting. Jim, can you tell me, can everybody hear me? Are we live here? I'm watching here on Discord on my other screen. You are live now. Wonderful. I want to thank everybody for the incredible amount of support we have. We're at over $220,000 in pledge support, and this is allowing us to do some really cool things. Also, we have now been with the Stellan Institute. We're going to be having a lot of their storylines and their experts in storylines, the template. I keep on thinking Stellan. I'm reading the Foundation trilogy. So I'm thinking of Harry Seldon and Template Institute. It's all mixing up in here. Sorry, guys. But the Template Institute, we're doing a lot of their really cool storylines that they've created. And Gunta's going to be posting those this afternoon. So today I wanted to talk about the state of the industry that we're going through. And Jim's going to be hitting up questions, giving me questions here in my Discord channel, or Academy Games Discord channel, and also answering here. And we probably have Jeremy on there also, who's going to be helping us out. So I want to talk about starting out a little with what the state of the industry is, and it's a very interesting time that we're in right now, because the world economy, the recovery going on from CV-19, everything is causing a pretty big hectic changes in board game production, etc. One of the things that I had a meeting for an hour with one of our printers last night was the paper and pulp index futures going up like crazy. Paper right now, per metric ton on the Nikkei pulp and paper index, just a month ago was $206.08, has driven up 40% to 287.40. 206 to 287.40. And I'm going with the Nikkei one mainly because that's the Asian market for a lot of the paper for the core board and everything. So they've had almost a 40% increase in a month. What is that going to mean to the game prices that we're looking at? What about other people who've done Kickstarters 2, 3, 4 months ago who were getting a lot lower price quotes? And these quotes can change because it always says it usually in there, or something's going to get cheaper, which they weren't expecting. So we're now looking at actually buying futures quantities for our game for when it's ready to print now already. So that's one thing that is of great weight on our minds. Another thing is shipping. If any of you ever have looked at the Baltic Freight Rates Index, which is something that we look at, and also is a really great indicator of how the world economy is going, how the banks, the people in power are seeing things going on, what the future reservation rates are for containers. For example, in March of 2020, before really the pandemic affected us, to bring a 40-foot container over to the United States between Europe and America was $1,344, which is roughly what it's like getting from printers in China coming to America. Any guess what it is now? $1,344 last year. Currently, the quote price for there's a quote price for a standard average 40-foot container as of today is $4,162. So we've gone up almost $3,000 since then. We're almost looking at a 280% increase in container costs. We've seen this ourselves. Usually we bring containers, 3 containers coming over from our printers in Asia, and they'd come into Seattle, Washington, right to Cleveland, where we distribute to everybody. And on average, we were looking at maybe $4,000, $4,500. This last time we brought it in, $9,500, and it's skyrocketing. So I'd like to get your thoughts. Has anybody have any ideas what could be happening in the market? How will it affect some of these poor Kickstarters that happened 2-3 months ago, that now all of a sudden their prices are going to go up or the quality is going to go down? The printers can't take the fall all of a sudden with all these things, because a lot of the printers are not forecasting and not pre-buying inventory in stock. Another thing that came up was that the inventory is getting scarce, that they're having delays in production because they cannot get enough product in. So that's why we're looking at buying future options with the printers for the core board, the paper, the steel, for the steel molds. Molds, oh my goodness, we used to be able to get molds made for $800 each in a mold for maybe $3,600, $4,000 for 4 different figures. That's tripled now in price also. So it's we're at least on top of it, making sure. I'm even going on to the Nikkei index, the NTIM, and the futures. I'm going to put some money in there to counteract. Same like we knew that the dollar was going to devalue against the euro. Right now, the euro supporters getting the this Kickstarter, you're in beautiful shape, because the euro to the dollar is like 121 to 1, whereas a year ago it was 108 to 1. So every time you paid €1, it would buy $1.08 in American dollars. It's now up to $1.21, 22, 20. It's fluctuating in there. So the dollar's dropped almost between 12, 14% in the last year. We see that stabilizing now, going down in the future. So these are all things that we're very, very concerned about on top of. But then the biggest thing also, and a lot of things that it says here, my guess is people being out of work, supply dwindled. Exactly. That's exactly right. A lot of the factories worldwide can't get enough workers in, mainly because China is shutting down people going back and forth. It is a problem worldwide, and we're seeing it in China, and we're seeing it in Germany, and we're seeing it here in America. Look at a 2x4. I mean, I work a lot on helping my daughter with her duplex, my home. Why hire someone to do something for $40,000 if I can do it for $4? And it's my relaxation. I go to work. I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then I like taking off and just working, improving. A 2x4 used to be like $2.40 a year ago. Over $6 for a 2x4. $6. A 2x4. So it is something that's going on. Another thing that has us of great concern is a VAT. And some of you have seen that we put in there a little clause with VAT that we may be putting VAT on to some of the Euro and UK people. And it's a big mess right now within the United States. We had talks with our bankers, with experts in the VAT processing payment and all. And currently, because of the Amazon issue in Europe, and Amazon really instigated this, I can't say the big fruit company that makes different type of electronic goods, them and other people are driving a lot of the companies now, or countries, to instate enforcement of VAT in different ways, where actually sometimes they're going to double the import taxes. So, for example, we and most other publishers, we ship our items from the United States, wherever, to a Central European location. We pay the customs, this Euro-friendly and Asia-friendly or Australia-friendly, UK-friendly. We're paying, we're eating, we're covering the VAT coming in. But now the rumor, die Gerüchte, are going out that the countries, let's say Spain, France, Italy, Poland, as the items are being shipped from our fulfillment to your country, that they are then going to charge the recipient VAT taxes unless we show proof of it being paid again separately and pay that government. But they have nothing in place yet for us to easily take care of this yet. So it is a total ambiguous thing that nobody knows what's going to happen. Can a company like us afford, with all the people or any of the publishers, get hit? Because a Kickstarter isn't as big a margin as people think. With the advertising, the reps, the Kickstarter fees, paying the credit card fees worldwide, the freight, everything else that we're internalized and get this out, all the extra miniatures we're putting out and all, could we afford getting double banged? That we're already paying the customs, VAT, and everything coming into the country. Do we do it out, have to pay again double? That is our fear. That is where we're going to be on top of, and we're holding off the survey as long as we can till we know what is going on. So I just want to let everybody know that we're not going to indiscriminately do anything. We're just very concerned that if we pay VAT coming into Germany, will this VAT be offset by the VAT that's going to be coming in when we send it to Spain? And how do we even pay it? Will it sit on the border? Will it, going from Germany to UK, our fulfiller for weeks has not been shipping games to the UK, just because when games come in, it's a non-essential item. A lot of them are just sitting there because they're just waiting until they get more information. So, Uwe, please use layman's terms or define terms that are outside of common language when you talk about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Am I using Nikkei and stuff like that? Jim, help me out here. A question from Gandalf Pendragon. Are there no American or Euro printers that can produce these? We printed in America for quite a while. We tried to get American printing. Unfortunately, America is not as refined yet as the German and Chinese markets. The core board is not as compressed. We, with our first Conflict of Heroes games, got the best paper on the top. And due to, unfortunately, their Six Sigma, don't get me into Six Sigma, their Six Sigma programs where they tried to save a few quarters and they don't understand what Six Sigma really means. Six Sigma is making your processing consistent, high quality, checking all along so that the end product is always good and you save money then by not having bad components. Now, most people think Six Sigma is, hey, save me a quarter on doing this manufactured part. So we did it. We had everything printed, the boxes, and everything was running. Everything ran because they didn't put enough clay into the paper on the top to lock in the inks used to print. We had to throw it all away and start over again. Big loss because they go, oh, we'll send you new paper. And we're like, we already made all the boxes. So we are looking in America. It's not here yet. Germany, the prices are sky high and they have limitations how much they can print. I would much rather print in Germany because guess what? We're paying as much or more to the Chinese now than it costs us to print in America or Germany. So we're not doing it to save money. Right now, it's to save to high quality. Very few printers can do PP lamination. There are little things. So there are more and more good companies coming up in Poland, Czechoslovakia, in Netherlands, and Germany. We've heard down the Turkey that they're coming out. I'm not going to go and trust the Turkey. What's the word? How do you say Turkey in English? What's the country? What's
Turkey.
Turkey. You know, I don't quite trust that yet. We have to check it out. So for now, we're going to stay in China, but everything I want is, yes, I would love to bring it to Europe and America. And we're getting closer. There are some good printers coming out. But All the miniatures, everything still has to be made in China. All these printers in Europe, they don't make their own miniatures and all. It all is coming from China, being made there and brought over and put under the European banner. So we've calculated, and Kari brought this up also, she's in our accounting, that we've calculated really the margin that we need to receive to survive. Putting out a game like Stellaris is a 3-year ordeal so far, with all our artists, our developers, Gunta, the sales, this is our living. We got to put shoes on our babies' feet, the electricity, everything else. And over the years, so we have the margins down. We put a little cushion, for example, with what if the price fluctuates, because we want to be here next year and continue this. And this incredible, incredible Stellaris brand, which we love. Luckily, we have incredible military games that continue to sell worldwide. We have to the homeschool markets, to schools, museums. We're lucky that we're not just in the board game industry. We are also in all these others. The cool thing is, though, that Agents of Mayhem came from our game training that we did for one of the military branches, which they used for urban combat. And one of the guys retired, then Lieutenant Colonel, went to work somewhere and said, hey, we loved what we did there. Can you do it for this? So we're bringing more of our AI structure and everything into now these games so that we can do these great games like Stellaris. Okay, Jim, any questions? Let Jim know and we'll go from there. So that's my rant on the market and state and some of the things that we as a publisher, maybe not all publishers, but you have to realize we're all nerdy engineers. I'm a mechanical engineer specializing in plastics and metals, metallurgy and all that. We have several patents on metasteels and stuff like that. Worked for Warner Chemicals for years. Gunta, designer of Agents of Mayhem and also Stellaris, main designer, is a biomedical engineer and a master's in mechanical engineering. And so we're using a lot of the black box research and technology used in biology and everything to be able then to create these very intricate storylines, these multiple radiating storylines that can go into the thousands of different permeations. And someone asked me once, how do you play test this all? We're not like other companies. We do a lot of play testing, but we use also a lot of statistical probability, and we have programs where every single card and every single interface and interaction is interlinked, and we can see through colors and probabilities what happens where. If we see that this outcome doesn't have high enough probability, then we switch something till we get the right colors that we can see. So then secondly, we use Proof HQ. Again, I wish more board companies would do this. Proof HQ, we put everything online, and then we get fans. We're going to get Super Stellaris fans in there, our game fans, our professional editors, everybody in there at once. And we have 30, 40, 50 people who do this usually for a living and love coming home just doing it for gaming instead of what they're doing. And we go through months, and every single thing is highlighted, discussed between multiple people. We make the changes, do the next revision. So that's why we usually have very, very few addendums. Do we have bad plastic parts where a miniature wasn't quite molded all the way, or you're getting 5 red dice instead of 4, but you're missing one of your blue? That happens. That's with any big company, people sorting, and in games where there's thousands of pieces, it can happen. But even there, we're very under 0.1 of 1%. So that is very good. Jim says, from Ivor Stefan Ivor, I guess. So is the UK getting its own shipment depot from her? Yes, we're contacting Spyro Galaxy, Asmodee UK, places like that. The containers are going to go directly to those countries. I'm even talking to publishers in each of the countries. We're trying to find the best way that we can guarantee that when the games ship, that they get to you safe, don't get stuck in borders. We're looking at all that. We're talking to the different publishers. But UK definitely the containers are going directly into the UK because of the Brexit issue. We don't even want to go through that. The other ones are going to go to Germany. We may divert some to our publishing friends in Spain and places like that also. Jim, ask him if the UK is a different case now that they are through. Yeah, of course, they're different. It used to be that if it was from Germany, we got in Germany, and Germany would ship it out everywhere. No VAT, no problems, no nothing. We paid the customs and everything. The shipping went over, done. Now, who knows? Nobody knows yet. Laws are being put in place, but there's no execution on it. There has not been any real where they're making sure that the laws are pulled through. But that can change any day because it's spotty. They'll pull one, say, "Oops, sorry," and 10 others go through. Right now, it's a very, very precarious time. And we have to be very careful, or else we and other companies can get very hurt. And as you see, a lot of game companies, they're not putting out new stuff. You haven't heard stuff in a long time. This whole pandemic has been very even difficult for us, even for playtesting. We can't get together with the guys, but luckily we're now getting more and more online and getting things done that way. So, but UK, no, we're taking care of that. Same with Australia. We're shipping stuff to Australia. We're trying to do everything to keep the prices down. Eric Yilrak. I'm going to go with that. Sorry, Eric, with a guy with the name Uwe, I go with you. I'm sure you can't get into the specifics, but how will the price of this game on Kickstarter compare to the cost of the Academy Game Store in the future? We're giving us a 40% discount on this. And also, we're only printing so many. With this is such a big project, we're doing the Kickstarter and a few extra that we will then allow. And also, may go setting up with some of our retail brick and mortar stores, our preferred brick and mortar stores around the world, but not many of them, because we need to make sure that we don't go through the mass discounters who just totally take a game, get tons of them in, discount them for 2 weeks. It kills the market for all the game stores that we love, and then it disappears. And then everybody's screwed. So, but this game also, the margins aren't there. The margins aren't there. We have so much going into these games. You have to realize the base game is 5 kilos or more. I mean, we're putting more and more unlocks in. So the Frontier expansion, the 5 or 6 player expansion, and the base game, we're estimating is going to be roughly 10 kilogram. That is 2.2 is 22 pounds. Huge box. It makes like 2 Gloomhavens almost. So there's a lot of stuff going in there. And the miniatures, you don't see them yet. They sent them to me on Discord. Some of the miniatures we're working with, and with the different designers and experts in the Stars computer game who are giving us storylines, and we're doing the cool miniatures with them also. You'll be seeing a lot of this in the coming days, in the next 2 weeks, because we've been working for weeks and weeks with these people, and these experts and super fans who've been play testing the game, coming up with stories they've come up with the past that we're going to be offering here day by day going forward. Maybe not day by day, every 2 days, 3 days, but new storylines. And we're also going to be giving a lot more surprises daily, maybe free unlock of some cool storyline. Now, these storylines, there's a lot to that, because you're getting the event cards, you're getting technology, whatever the cards for that storyline are, they're coming in and they're being put into the system, this very unique system that we have, this radiating, emanating, what we call infinite legacy system that we have, which no other game is like that. And even their stories are going to affect all the other stories with the lock and key systems and everything going forward. How the price of the game? So no, the prices we're giving at 40% off, that is something that isn't going to be beat again. And a lot of these things are the Kickstarter exclusive, the miniatures and all that, which, like people know, when we did Mare Nostrum up here, with the resource kit set. We only did so many, and they were gone. And for 5 years now, people are just begging us reprint them. We said no, they were exclusive. So something that cost $50 back then are going for $220 on eBay now. So next, anything else there, Jim? John Arnold, will all these permutations being shown in your software to determine diversity in play, with all these permutations being shown in your software to determine diversity in play? I guess that means the tabletop simulator. Does it point out any areas of your tech tree where certain cards can be abused? In the base game, we are staying very strict to the Stellaris PC game. So the text and everything, we're adjusting a little for the base game, but we're pretty good. I mean, listen, John, our main business where we started out is in tactical war games and leader combined arms training games. Our newest, like Conflict of Heroes, we're getting more and more into cognitive suppression during combat situations, everything like that. So when it comes to the probabilities of combat and everything, we're pretty dang good in that. Now, I'm not going to give everything away, but if something is just so good and so beneficial that it's unfair, be careful. Some things could happen. That's all I'm going to say. So a lot of people know also from our past designs, we love putting little lemons in there. Go for that easy target. You're getting all the points. You're going to win the game. And that's the thing in real life, that even in a battlefield, that your situational awareness may be very limited. And if you don't pull back and look up, that objective or those men in trouble or that enemy troop movement is going to make what we call this heuristic bias decision, this thing in your gut feel that you're going to jump on it and you're going to do it. If you're with a good enemy commander who understands your training, and I give talks like this to military conferences at Fort McNair, at Quantico, at the Army War College, where I give these talks on behavioral type of combat situational bias decision-making, and how our leadership, and we're getting better and better at that, how we train our men now to, during combat, it's no longer doing just field exercises over and over again. We need to get them to be able to critically think in the battlefield situation and step away from just this heuristic bias, gut feel. I've been through this 20 times. I'm going to do it. That 21st time, if you're against another commander who knows how you're trained and how the average American leader is trained to think and react, I can put situations in place that'll make you react the way I want, so that then in the next stage iteration of command cycle, I can hit you from the flank side, whatever, and take advantage and get big advantage in the battle. So no, we are looking at that. Sorry for getting off on the military part, because Stellaris has a lot of military. It's always that threat. It's a 4X game, but that threat does not just have to be through military. Remember, it can come from religious usurpation, religiöse Überwältigung. Weißt du, sometimes it's hard to get the tongue going different ways. That's what he meant when I'm saying words. You have to realize I speak a lot of German during the day, and growing up in South America, Puerto Rico, and then Germany and America, it all comes very fluently. And sometimes we just speak. I can have one guy, like my brother, speaking English. I'll speak German. We don't even know we're speaking different languages. So I do apologize. I'm trying to learn French, but nah, I just don't get it, because our part of Germany in Solingen was occupied by the French after World War II. And we're near the French border, so a lot of my German are French words. So I'm already halfway there of Kauderwelsch. I speak a slang German. Are you? Hopefully that answered your question, John. Barb Factory, are you planning to have localized versions or releasing language packs, cards? Barb Factory, very, very good point. We've been talking with our foreign publishers. And when I say foreign publishers, I have to be careful. When I say we're going to print these in foreign languages, that is a very biased, insensitive way to say, non-English. So non-English versions of the game. We're talking with our partner publishers in different countries. In a lot of these countries like Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic, and other countries, Belgium, wherever, they're not going to buy thousands of games. And since there's so much in this, we've decided we're going to just, for now, just keep English language, because a game is very language independent. Everything is with symbols. Everything is very language independent. Even the phase boards. I don't know who looked at update number, I think 3. And if you look in the main Kickstarter page, I put links to it. We went through exactly what the 4 phase boards look like, which is very key. And then yesterday, Gunther went in detail through some of these phase boards. And if you follow the metagame that we're doing on our updates every day, and we're going to be posting this later today, another meta update, we're going through starting a game. We've already created our civilization. And now we're going to be replacing this evening, we're going to be putting our first solar system down, and we're going to decide what are we going to do. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do an expansion. So we're going to go exactly through the expand card and going through this. And everybody then decides and votes what we want to do and kind of the storylines that follow from that. So we are talking with our foreign partners and new foreign partners. The one thing that we need are the cards. I mean, overall, once everything's done, there are going to be thousands of different cards. This is nicht überwältigend. It is not over, Scheißdreck. It is not over überwältigend. It does not create for new players an overload of information, because these cards are just totally interlinked. It's there. You don't have to remember rules. You don't have to remember stuff. You see the symbols if you go on the update. You see the symbols on the opponent's card. You see what they've done, certain key events, things they've done in the universe, how they react to people, what kind of civilization they may be. And those are the locks and keys. So when you get something, you can easily see by symbols, and even yourself, you don't have to memorize a lot. So yes, there are a lot of cards, but it's all these intertwined storylines. So the cards are very language dependent if you want to read the stories and see the cool things. For example, if you look at our main campaign page, already the first story that, for example, the Templin are working on or putting in is a really neat little story. So people want to read this. The rules we can always post online. That's easy, but the cards are key. So we're talking to our foreign partners and seeing who wants to create just the important card packs in each language. The base game is a base game. It's mostly language independent. You have the cards in your language, you're set to go. So we think that is the least expensive way for our partners to be able to do this, because most of them, they're not going to do a 2,000 print run, which is already very low for everything in. It's going to cost so much that these foreign language things could almost cost double as much. So if we just put in a card pack that has the base game or the Frontier expansion, 3,000 cards, we can keep the price down. They can push the game. They can help their market in their language develop. So that's what we're working on. That's one of the ideas we're discussing with them at this time. Does that answer your question then, Barb Factory? Okay, Jim and Jeremy, if you can keep me going here. Okay, they're answering a lot of questions online. Uwe, when it comes to final production, how much flexibility does Academy Games have in waiting until you're happy with the product, opposed to being forced to push it out due to the IP contract? It depends on what IP contract you have. We've worked with several IPs, not only in the board game, but outside of the board game market. And also in my other businesses, we had steel businesses. We had Eika GmbH in Germany. We in the beauty industries, steel factory, high speed things. We made tools for the military and stuff like that. And in all of them, it can be a problem. But speaking just for, and in the past, I've really never had a problem because our company communicates a lot. Even here, a lot of people got on our case, you didn't put out the rules and everything, because we decided early on we're going to have such a diverse supporter base. We have video gamers who don't really play board games, and we have board gamers who are brand new to the Stellars, but are used to these heavy Der Macher or Agricola or Game of Thrones or Ascension, Rebellion. I mean, for the gamers, it's like easy. So we're really having to make the rule book very, very visual and step-by-step easy for new players to step in. And then the cards and everything, and the game is teaching you as you're going along. So that's why we're doing it through the updates. With the IPs, going back to that then, we work with the printers, and we always have white boxes sent. And we're very picky. As people know, our games, you look at our Conflict of Heroes, you look at our Vikings games, our Freedom the Underground Railroad, our Mare Nostrum, all these games, the quality has never been an issue. Yes, we've had, when we do a 10,000 print run, I'll get like 3 people going, oh, my map board had black streaks across it. The print press may do something, but we are very particular. That's why we are, like for the planets, where you're doing your little population clips on, how do you print that? It's just a counters. You make good counters, right? No, we PP laminate them. We put a plastic layer on them that makes them like impossible to rip and makes them so super wear basis so that these corners and all don't wear off. So these are all things that we're putting in place that we have built into our cost because it is so key. Same with your player boards where you're putting your cards in. These are paper. I'm afraid that these could, most players, we've been testing them for months and months, no problem. But, you get some guy, his kid's there, and he tears stuff, it can be frustrating. So even those are being PP laminated to make sure that we resist the abrasion. Counters being stamped. I hate counters being offset, stamped offset. We had one game where we were not happy. We're not going to be using that printer anymore. So we're looking at the best printers in the industry. We look at, I have just tons of games that I get in from all the different printers. We look at them and we look at, are the stamps centered? How is the ink? How is the color depth? Everything. So when it comes to quality, yes, we're all engineers, most of us. Well, the artists aren't, the graphics guys are now, but Gunta, the guys who are running the design part, we're all nerdy engineers. So we really put QC top of the line. So hopefully I didn't ramble too long. Uwe, when it comes to final product, so flexibly, we get white boxes in, so we see that everything goes well. When we make all the trays are going to interact and link in together so they fit in the game box. So every playing piece has its spot. When you're playing between arrows, if you want to keep playing, on the bottom is a nice thick plastic with big system tile, tight fitting recesses where every player puts their different solar systems with their planets, everything layered in there in the direction so they know exactly how to reset up the next time. Your player trays have really snap-on nice lids. Your counters, where the countering, like in Conflict of Heroes, the bottoms are recessed so the counters sit in nice at an angle so that they don't go all over the place. For those of you who don't know, I've got over here, we're working on our France 1940 invasion, or the German invasion of France. And in these, you can see that the counters don't lay straight. They're at an angle so that they're easy to go through and find. Then on the bottom, you see They're little ridges that keep them from sliding forward, keeps everything nice in place. Then the lids come in, snap in. The lids have rails on them so that these all fit and don't slide. So we have a lot of quality things that we put in to make sure the games are number one. Uwe, what's been your favorite part of development process for Stellaris? The design and everything. Now, Gunther's the main designer on this project, but in Gunther with his AI and then with the behavioral, agent-based behavioral AIs that we're doing, and a lot of the stuff is trickling in to the Stellaris and different things. What I really love about Stellaris, I am a board gamer. As I've said before, we have military guys coming through here from Quantico or wherever to visit, and we come to game nights when the COVID's over. We're going to instate that again. So anybody who's in the area, once a month, we have people coming from all over, and we play games. And they come, they're saying, all right, what war game? What we're developing for this and this, Ukraine or China Sea or whatever. And I go, no. I said this before in the video, let's play El Grande, or let's play some cool new game that came out, because there's so many new game techniques coming out. And that's where Gunther and I get so excited. And Jim Schoch, Jim's answering a lot of your questions here, and Pavlos, and we all get together and we get such a dynamic synergy going. That is the fun part. And I really also enjoy the engineering part of using Mind Master and different type of, like Mr. Arsenic, who you've seen online with us, who specializes in these programming, esoteric type of concepts from biology and all, and engineering, and putting them together so you can visually see stuff. Very key. So we get off on that. But then I love the storytelling also. I'm changing the way, even in our Conflict of Heroes series for the military training, we're no longer going to have a mission book where, here, play this mission, then this and this, and that's your campaign. Out. Now you're just playing, and you're just going from situation to situation, and every decision you make radiates forward, but it's still being contained by the actual historical battle going on. So that's what I really love about the design side. So hopefully that answered the question there. Are you planning to have localized version of released package? We went through that when it comes to production. Oh, I'm sorry, Jim. I'm not going down. Any other questions then that we have? Let me make sure. Oh, some of the Q&A that people have asked. We've covered a lot. We've covered the VAT, and what we put online is what we hope are worst cases. Okay, hopefully we don't even have to worry about it. Hopefully we don't have to worry about it, and that's why we're pushing off the final surveys until we can really get a good feel for it. And then with our luck and other people's, we ship it, and then some country changes all the laws, and we're going to have to divert real quick and see what we can do. Another thing was colorblindness came up, and we do a lot of color, everything we design, and with the miniature colors, and people said, why don't you have this color in there and all that? Because of the colorblind issue. And I realize red is not, I have my Fitbit here, and I'm not colorblind, but why would they ever put a dark red against a black? Look, I can see everything else except for the time. What the heck? I'm running. I want to look and see the time easy, and they have a dark red against dark black. Someone talk to these guys. But same thing there. So we run everything through Photoshop. They have two really good filters, colorblind filters. One filter we always go with is the Protanopia. Protanopia. I think that's one where more people are more green colorblind. And then there's also the Deuteranopia. D-E-U-T-E-R, Deuteranopia. So those with color blindness, I'm no expert. I just know that Jarek, who's our head of Academy Games, he's our design director out of Poland. He's full-time staff here for several years, probably one of the best artists I've ever seen anywhere. And he does all these incredible, he did the cover to the Stellaris box. He's done so much incredible artwork. He's genius with that. but he's also very, very aware of the color problems, and so we're taking care of that. We're running a little late. Let's see. Any more questions, guys, that I need to know? Jim, Jeremy, anything we need to know or cover that hasn't been covered by you guys? All right. Well, tomorrow we are Gunther's going to be doing another playthrough. I believe tomorrow he's going to go through, in the last playthrough, we talked about the phase boards. And remember, the game is around the phase boards. You're taking rounds. In a round, you do certain stuff at the beginning, turn all your resources new again. Then you have your 4 phase boards, your explore, exploit, expand, exopolitics. You all secretly choose one at the same time. You're not doing the same thing. Then on those boards, you'll see the top darker part is the top lighter part is during your planning phase, what everybody's doing together. You're playing your resources, seeing what you want to do. You can do as many of these things as you want in that phase. Then when everybody's done planning, you show it, and step by step, the first person who ended goes first, going around until everybody's executed that phase, and then you'd go over again. In a round, you're going to go each of your 4 boards. You're going to do the 4 boards. You can't do once, twice. You're going to do the 4 boards. If you run out of all your resources on your first 2 phase boards and you have no more resources left, you're not going to do any exopolitics or any other stuff. You're out of luck. So you got to plan a little, make sure, you get so excited at the beginning. Oh, look at that. I've got all these mashed potatoes on my plate. I'm going to eat. Well, you're not going to have enough room to eat your dessert later on. Well, I always do. We always eat dessert first. So Gunther's then going to go into the next really cool thing, the event cards in your action cards, which give you then additional actions you can take. The coming days, we're going to show you how you build up your fleets with technology and the different technologies you can use, and then also combat. Combat is what we love, our specialty, but all the little frills. And that's it. The rules, this game is not difficult. It is a very complex system of stories, and you get immersed. But modern game design has taught us to have as few derivative rules as possible, but options. It's all what I've done quite a few videos online about what we call the dopamine cycle. That's a name we've penned that I've seen now more and more being used. The dopamine decision, anticipation, resolution. That cycle is what gets a dopamine and other bodily functions getting excited, because in a board game, we do not have lights and sound and movement to get our reactions going. The only way in a board game where it really works is a dopamine cycle. So again, the design of this game is keep the cycle real quick, as many cycles as you can, make the anticipation higher, doubling down in blackjack or whatever. And then when it goes ding, 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 like in the jackpot machine, where when you get all the money or you lose the money, guess what? Your dopamine, it crashes. It's not when you get the money that your brain's going, whoa, I love it. No, it's when you pull the handle, then it goes off. So every design we have is to be simple, clean, not too much information coming in. Like a leader in a combat situation, you don't want to overwhelm that leader. You have to filter it, make it clean so that he can easily visually identify and then make decisions. Decisions. So that's what this game's about. So Gunther's going to be going through the next part is with the action cards, event cards, then the building up to combat. And also we're doing this through our meta game. We're also going to be putting the rules in, but in stages, because again, when you put too much on all at once, people who are not used to it, it can be overwhelming. Oh no, this is not for me. They don't have the physical game in front of them where it's saying, here, set it up. You're set up now. Do this. And once you start doing it, the cards and everything pull it for you. All right. What is the sneakiest trick you can think of that you can pull off in the Stellaris board game? There are so many little storylines that are just where you can be really nice to people. Again, and this is a game where you choose. You're building up your civilization, your species, um, your alien species, and we're putting in some cool new things coming in the coming days. So, and a lot of it due for a lot of the top designers and everything in the Stellaris PC universe. We've been working with them for several weeks, and in the next few days, like some of the top ones, 8 of the top ones, I don't know how many, are coming in. We're working. They've got all these cool storylines that we're going to be putting in the packs, adding them in to the Frontier expansion. So the sneakiest, one of the things I have to say, the sneakiest thing I've seen is Gunta was just going on technology and everything, and he wasn't building up his forces. And Nathan was just going nuts. He was the power. He's going to win the game. And then Gunta, sneaky, had everything set up. And then he had this revolution start on all his planets. And his people revolted. And his production literally collapsed. And Gunta just rolled over him. That was a beautiful little one. And again, little stuff like that. You go, what the hell? But it's cool little stuff like that makes this game so much fun. Jeremy, anything? Anybody has any questions? All right. Hey, I want to thank everybody for coming in and listening. If you ever have any other questions, Jim will get them for us here. Thank you so much for your support. Listen, we're a bunch of nerdy gaming fanatics, ladies and guys here, that we're a small company. You probably figure out Gunta Eichert, Uwe Eichert, we're related. He's my son. You see Kirsten sometimes helping. She works for Goodyear, but she's a logistics expert. So she really helps out with the VAT and everything at night or on the weekend. If I have questions, say, hey, how do you do it with Goodyear? And she says, well, I can't tell you that, Dad, but here's a guy you can call. And Kari works, does a lot of the customer service. And then, of course, we have Jim and all the other people. So thank you so much for your support. We're still 2 people short in the office. We'll get to your answers and questions answered as quick as we can. But because of COVID-19 and our local restrictions, we've had to keep the offices separated. So we can't get new people in quite yet. We're trying to do it with offsite people like Jeremy, Mr. Freitag. And so thank you again. We'll see you then tomorrow when Gunta's doing live stream, always at 2 o'clock. And people who did not see the live, we'll post the link on YouTube. Have a great day, everybody. I'm going to go run with the dog now.